Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, because the story you're about to hear is real, terrifying, and it hides in plain sight. We like to think we'd recognize danger if it stood in front of us. That evil shows its face. But what if it doesn't? What if it smiles, shakes your hand, and calls itself your friend? This is the story of James Terron, a man who survived heartbreak, found love again, and unknowingly welcomed his own destruction. James was born in 1959 in Kansas City, a man built on loyalty and discipline. After serving in the Air Force, he became an air traffic controller, a job that demanded absolute focus and calm. Everyone loved James, his warmth, his humor, the way he made everyone feel seen. At home, he was a devoted husband and a dog lover, known for his patience and kindness. But kindness can blind you. After 20 years of marriage, James's wife, Laura, fell gravely ill. He became her caretaker, her rock, until she recovered. But once she did, she left him. Just like that. The woman he had fought to keep alive walked away with another man. It broke him. He threw himself into work, trying to bury the pain under long shifts and quiet nights. That's when he met Robert Densley, a quiet co-worker who rarely spoke to anyone. Where James was charismatic, Robert was invisible. Yet, behind that silence, Robert was studying him, his clothes, his smile, his life. Soon, Robert began to imitate him. The same car. The same haircut. Even a dachshund, just like James's dogs. It seemed odd, but James brushed it off. He's just trying to fit in, he told his colleagues. He didn't realize Robert wasn't just admiring him. He was becoming him. When James decided to move to Florida for a fresh start, he thought the past was behind him. The sunshine, the ocean, the promise of peace. He met JJ, a fellow air traffic controller, recently divorced, strong and kind. Their love grew naturally, quietly. They built a new home together, ready to start over. Then one morning James walked into work and froze. Robert had transferred to Florida too. The same city. The same airport. The same tower. Robert smiled. "I needed a change of scenery," he said. It sounded harmless. But it wasn't. Soon, Robert was everywhere, at their grocery store, at the same restaurants, always by coincidence. JJ felt uneasy, but James defended him. "He's lonely," he said. But loneliness doesn't explain obsession. And obsession doesn't end with kindness. Because soon, Robert would cross a line no one saw coming. A line that would turn admiration into horror and friendship into something far more terrifying. If you're still here, hit that subscribe button, because what happens next will make you question every friendly face you've ever met. By the time James and JJ finished building their dream home in Land O'Lakes, life finally felt peaceful. They'd survived heartbreak, started fresh, and were planning their wedding. For once, everything was quiet, until Robert reappeared. He had followed them to Florida. Not just the same city, but the same facility, the same tower. When James saw him walk into the control room that morning, he tried to laugh it off. Small world, huh? But deep down he felt uneasy. Still, he couldn't bring himself to be cruel. Robert had always seemed fragile, lonely. So when Robert offered to buy James's old house, James agreed. What he didn't expect was the strange request that followed. "Can you leave the bed sheets?" Robert asked. "The ones you used? I want everything just as it was." James thought he was joking. He wasn't. He smiled that same tight smile, the kind that hides something dangerous behind politeness. After that day, JJ insisted they cut off contact. "There's something wrong with him," she said. But James, always seeing the best in people, replied softly, "He's harmless." He wasn't. Weeks later, Robert called. He said he had a gift for them, a housewarming present. JJ didn't want him to come. Something about his voice made her stomach twist. But James, ever the gentleman, agreed. "Just one visit," he said. That night, November 1st, Robert arrived early. He was smiling too wide, dressed too neatly, carrying an expensive crystal vase wrapped in silver paper. The moment he stepped inside, JJ felt the temperature in the room drop. He talked nonstop, about the house, the furniture, the decor. He seemed possessive. Then after dinner, he handed them another package, a leather-bound photo album. When they opened it, JJ froze. Inside were hundreds of photos, taken during their home's construction. The foundation, the windows, even their curtains through the glass. "You took these?" James asked, his voice tight. Robert nodded proudly. "I wanted to surprise you. I've been coming by every few days." JJ's heart pounded. "Every few days? Without telling us?" Robert laughed lightly, as if it were nothing. "I photographed everyone's houses from work." But there was something else in his tone, something off. A kind of ownership. The silence that followed was unbearable. JJ's daughter arrived soon after, saving her from the growing dread. As she left, she whispered to James, "Please don't let him stay long." She didn't know those would be her last words to him. When the door closed behind her, Robert stood up slowly. "I have one more gift for you," he said. "It's in my car." He returned with an envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. "I've loved you for a long time, James. I can't keep living a lie. I've already asked God for forgiveness." James's blood ran cold. "Rob, you need to leave. Now." But Robert just smiled. "Not until you understand how much I love you." And somewhere deep inside that smile, something snapped. If you've made it this far, subscribe now, because what happens next isn't just tragic, it's chilling. The moment JJ closed the front door behind her that night, James Terron and Robert Densley were alone in the quiet house. The unease that had lingered all evening thickened into something darker. Robert stood near the kitchen table, clutching his letter, eyes glimmering with something almost feverish. "Rob," James said carefully, "this isn't right. You need help." Robert shook his head. "You don't get it, James. I love you. I moved here for you. I bought your house. I watched your home being built because I needed to be close to you." James backed away slowly, trying to stay calm. "You've crossed a line. Please just go home." But Robert's voice trembled as he whispered, "I can't. Not without you." What happened next would unfold in minutes, but its consequences would echo for years. Hours later, JJ returned home. The driveway was strangely dark. Robert's car was gone, but something on the pavement caught her eye, a thin, dark trail leading toward the door. When she stepped inside, the air was heavy, metallic. Then she saw it, blood, splattered on the floor. A pile of James's clothes soaked in red. Her voice cracked as she called his name. No answer. Then she saw it, a bullet casing glinting near the couch. Her chest tightened. The world went silent. She grabbed the phone with shaking hands and dialed 911. "My husband, there's blood everywhere. He's gone. Please, help me." Within minutes, the house was swarming with flashing lights. Detectives quickly realized this wasn't a random break-in. The scene told a story, one of confrontation, rage, and something disturbingly intimate. Robert's car was traced to his house in Lutz, Florida, but it was empty. Investigators found a rental agreement for another property in Safety Harbor, signed just days earlier. That's when the truth began to unravel. Robert hadn't snapped on impulse. He had planned everything. 2 days later, police entered the Safety Harbor rental. The stench hit them first. Inside the master bedroom were 2 bodies, Robert Densley lying on the bed and James Terron on the floor beside him. Robert had shot James once, then turned the gun on himself. But what investigators found next showed just how deep his obsession ran. James's body had been mutilated, a final act of twisted possession. On the nightstand was a second letter, scrawled in trembling handwriting. He didn't understand. "I had to make him stay. Forgive me, Lord." The words were smeared with tears or blood. When JJ received the news, she collapsed. Her voice broke as she told detectives. He was kind to everyone, even to the wrong person. In interviews years later, she spoke softly, never bitterly. "I don't hate Robert," she said. "He was sick. But I'll never understand how someone can confuse love with control." She rebuilt her life quietly, carrying James's memory like a scar that never fades. And so the story of James Terron became a warning, a reminder that not all monsters hide in the dark. Some wear smiles, some bring gifts, and some just never leave you alone.